Hello everyone and welcome back to the Football Insider Gaming channel. I'm Connor Bromley and today I'm going to count down some of the most underrated players on Football Manager 2026 who play in the Premier League. This is in no particular order, but just players that I've looked at and thought the game has really got it wrong when it comes to rating them. So the first one we are going to touch on is Sunderland goalkeeper Robin Roofs. Now he is rated as the worst regular starting goalkeeper in the Premier League on the game. So Football Manager believes that Robin Roofs is, poor, it's fair to say. And the statistics would actually disagree with that quite considerably. And Robin Roofs sort of ranks out as being one of the sort of top keepers in the Premier League. Now, to give Football Manager some, leeway on this, before he signed for Sunderland, he'd only played one professional season, and that was in the Eredivisie. So it is a little bit of a surprise that he's done so well since moving to the Premier League. And when they were obviously making the game, they couldn't necessarily rate him at the highest. So he's probably the most unproven starting goalkeeper in the Premier League as well. But right now, to see him rated so low, I think most people would probably go, yeah, he definitely needs a bump up, and he probably will get it, either in an update or in next year's edition. But yeah, he is definitely criminally underrated in Football Manager. And the next player we're going to talk about is also a goalkeeper, Senny Lamens at Manchester United. He's also rated very, very low, rated far worse than Andre Onana, who he's replaced in the Manchester United goal. And Lamens, probably much like Robin Roofs, sort of the victim of not having a huge body of work. But everything we've seen from the Man United goalkeeper would suggest that he is, going to be one of the better goalkeepers in the Premier League. And I think Football Manager will again give him a little bit of a boost in the next update or in the next edition of the game. Staying in Manchester, we have Amad Diallo, and he is ranked sort of as a above average Premier League player, and I think that's a little bit unfair. I think Amad is one of the most exciting players in the Premier League. He can do a lot of good things. He's very versatile as well, but he helped out Ruben Amorim a lot, willing to chip in at right wing back. And then when you see him going further forward, he scores some big goals for Manchester United, and he's definitely a big game player. And I think Amad is one of those where, he could well be, if he gets a solid run in that Man United team, one of the best players in the Premier League. We just haven't been able to see him get that consistent sort of level of performance up, but I think he is underrated quite significantly by Football Manager. Next is Aston Villa's Pau Torres, one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League, but Football Manager doesn't rate him as so. They've got him as an above-average centre-back, but I think he should be in the next category up. And if you look at what Aston Villa are doing this season, Pau Torres is a lot of the reason why they've been so successful in the Premier League this season. So I think he has been pretty highly underrated by Football Manager, and I expect to see him get a significant bump up in the next update of the game. Moving to Ellen Road now, and Anton Stack. He has been one of the best players for a newly promoted team this season, and Football Manager doesn't rate him as highly as what I think they should. Stack, of course, was fantastic in the Bundesliga before he moved to Leeds, and then since he's moved to Leeds, he has been one of the better players, I think, in the Premier League this season in his position. A very solid central midfielder, can do a lot of good things. He's a little bit of a goal threat as well, but he has that physicality. And I think the Football Manager has underrated him a little bit, and he should be boosted up into being certainly a player capable of playing for a top 10 team in the Premier League. And next is another midfielder. This time it's James Garner, who plays for Everton, and he has had a stellar season. Now, if I was going to give Football Manager some leeway on this, I would say that Garner, since he signed for Everton, has been very up and down in his performances, but this season he's kind of found a consistent level of form, and I think we'll see Garner get an upgrade on the game because his level of performances this past season has been excellent, and he sharp became one of Everton's most important players. And there's been games, I watched him play against Aston Villa away recently, and he was unbelievable in that game and looked like, a superstar. And I think he will see a big boost up in the near future. Another midfielder who I think needs an upgrade is Nottingham Forest Elliot Anderson, and he kind of grades out again as a sort of above average Premier League player, but he is arguably the most important player in Nottingham Forest right now. He had an amazing season last season, and then this year, even though Forest are struggling, I still think Anderson has been a big part of everything they've done right this season, and I think he is due, a real upgrade on the game. England national as well, and I think that he's only going to get better and better as time goes on. Manchester City now, and Ryan Cherki, who they bought this past summer, who I think has surprised everyone with how quickly he's adapted to the Premier League. Looks like one of the most exciting players in the league, creative, he can score goals as well. and he, you know, gives fullbacks nightmares with his trickery. And I think Shaky is going to, in the next sort of year or so, kind of get into everyone's thinking of being one of the best players in the Premier League. That's how well he has done so far. And I think Football Manager have underrated him quite a bit, you know, because I think he is a better player than Jeremy Doku. But Jeremy Doku is rated as being one of the best wingers in the league. But I actually think Shaky is possibly better than him. I'd be interested to know what you think in the comments. I think he's been pretty criminally underrated by the game. Next up, Harry Wilson at Fulham. And this I have a lot of sympathy with Football Manager for, because Harry Wilson is having the absolute season of his life. He's been at Fulham for years, and you know, he's always been a good player, capable of scoring good goals, but he's never found this sort of form. And this season, he has been incredible at Craven Cottage, and I think he has really, really stepped up to the mark for them, and especially playing in a contract year, he's going to earn himself a bumper payday in the summer, whether that's at Fulham or another team in the Premier League or maybe elsewhere in the world. But Harry Wilson, rated as a very sort of average at best winger in the Premier League on Football Manager 26, and this past season he showed himself to be one of the best wingers in the Premier League. So yeah, he definitely needs an upgrade. And maybe the player who is, you know, really defied Football Manager is Igor Thiago at Brentford, because he is rated as a really bad striker in the league, you know, sort of borderline Championship, lower end Premier League striker, and he this season has been an absolute revelation at the G-Tech. He is scoring goals, he is a threat, he's physical, he does everything you would want from a centre forward. In the game, I think, looked at him, saw he didn't have a great season last season, and sort of rated him accordingly to that. But then this season, this guy has had the biggest glow up, and I think Igor Thiago is probably in line for a huge money move in the summer. So there we go. That is the most underrated players in the Premier League on Football Manager. Well, at least what I think, looking at the data. If you enjoy the video, please leave a like. Please also let me know if I've missed any other criminally underrated players as well, and we'll catch you again for another video.